Hi, this is Jack from Alpha Charts with a state of the market video. Today is January 29th, 2022. Before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. Also, if you like these videos, don't forget, like and subscribe down below. Thank you very much. It really does help me out. And it keeps me making these videos. I hope you enjoy them. Leave me a comment below also. All right, so here we go. Oh, and before we get started, I did an interview with on the trading sim. So I'll go ahead and link to that below. But if you're interested, to watch the video interview, about an hour long, pretty good. Had a lot of fun doing it. So check that out. Again, I'll put the link in the description below. All right, let's get started with this markets. S&P. So 5 days ago, we were coming down hard, right? This was the area that we got a nice little bounce, and and things have been holding here. But to me, I don't trust this bounce. To me, it looks more like a bear flag than it does a bottom. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's right now still under the 200-day, and even if it does rise a little bit more and gets above the 200-day, it's got to make a base. And let's be honest, I mean, at this point now, we have to say, is this a right shoulder, right, a head? Now we're gonna make another shoulder here, right? I don't know the answer to that. It's a question. If this is going to be a left shoulder, head, right shoulder, don't know, but definitely still a suspect market. I think for me, it needs to get above 45.30-ish, really 45.50-ish, something like that. Looking at the RSP, so here's the RSP, and it's been fiddling around here in this general area. We can probably, this is the area where it could kind of, doing the same thing though, right? Flagpole, potentially bear flag here. So equal weights also not looking fantastic, right? Trapped underneath moving averages now. I would definitely be careful in this market for sure. RSP, looking at the Qs. Let's see what else here. Here's the Qs. And again, we have the move down. This is the major area of support. We're there, right? If this area breaks, right, that gets really nasty. Let's go to weekly, just to kind of give you context, right? I mean, it goes pretty far. As my dog's barking in the background, she sees all the wind and leaves going out there, and she just wants out. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, this is pretty rough right here. Looking, right? I mean, so this is a huge important area right here. My next 300, that'd probably be my next area that I would be watching, which would make sense to me. So let me just draw that in there, and so we can just be aware of it. Again, if this is a bear flag, I think NASDAQ 300 is very likely. Head and shoulders top on the equal weight cues, and now again, we are seeing potentially, a bear market rally, maybe into this area right here. It may not even hit that area, and then potentially the rollover and the retest, and who knows what happens at that point, right? This is the VWAP from the COVID lows. So of course, it's always an area of interest. But again, this is a pretty rough looking market right here. and I just don't trust this. We've seen rallies like this before, and again, it could go even potentially a few more days, right? That would not shock me. But until it gets above, on this equal weight Qs, 79-ish, I wouldn't, I'm still not buying this market. Again, price action of the indexes matters. I'm not seeing a ton of individual stocks setting up either. So that's got to be there too. I'm not seeing that either. Let's keep going. The mid caps, again, it's below this potential area. Kind of came back in a little bit, lower volume. Again, it's trapped under now a declining, right? That's now declining 200-day moving average. That's never good. I mean, look at how this is all lining up. Yeah, I mean, let's go back to SPX real fast. Sometimes I like to do this. And then let's just go ahead and get rid of price and just look at moving averages. I mean, that's pretty rough, right? That looks like it wants to cross over. Qs, same thing. Where's moving averages at? I don't know why Qs didn't come up. That Qs, there they are. There they are. There they are. Yeah. I mean, to me, this is not healthy. Mid caps, right? What is this showing? I mean, where's the trend, right? IWM. Yeah. I don't like trading these being finicky right now. IWM. There we go. Tell me, what's the trend, right? What's happening here? I mean, this is as clear as it can be, right? We have all major moving averages now moving lower. They've all crossed the 200-day, and 200-day has started to decline. That's, again, as clear as it can. You got a major top here, major top. Yes, it's extended to the downside. Will it come back up some? Again, I drew these in last week. Will it go ahead and come up with some and then come back down? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But I think that the path of least resistance is lower, at least until we get to, 165-ish, right? So that being said, from here, it's another 15% lower. So that's not good, right? IWO, very similar to IWM. It's actually closer though, which is kind of interesting. IWO is closer, only about 8 or 9% to potential support. And if we go maybe 10%, right? We'll call it 10%. So that's something to watch. If IWO can touch the support sooner, that's great. But again, looking at all the moving averages and everything, everything is moving down and fairly quick pace, right? So we'll see what happens when it gets to this area. Put this stuff back in. The 220-ish area, right? About another 10% lower. Again, a lot of distribution happening in these, small cap growth index. Financials, financials, well, they're not leaning into the downside. They're still above the 200-day, but they're not leaning to the upside. They're kind of going sideways. All right. I mean, that's something. It's not great. SMH, we talked about how wide and loose this was, right? And how I said I really didn't like it, even though it was kind of holding up better than the market. Again, wide and loose is not good. Well, boom, it's now declined. It's holding this potential area of support here. But if that goes, I think that this 222-ish area is probably next for it to test. And there's no reason to think that it's going to hold. It's still, now it's under the 200-day moving average like everybody else. And 200 days now flattening out again, not the prettiest looking chart. And so we'll see what happens with that. But again, if SMH is going down, that's definitely a negative on the market. Again, the wood ETF, again, it had a topping look candle right over here. It's going down. Again, this is a messy chart, a lot of stuff on there, but price is now underneath all the VWAPs I put in from special, from this top, and from that was the beginning of 2021. I'm just gonna take this VWAP out. I don't think it adds anything anyway. Yeah, so we're underneath all the moving averages, all the VWAPs, but we're back in a range. So that's the good news. Wood is in a range. Again, if we break to the low side of this range, and I'm talking below $83, that could get real ugly real fast. This may be a major top also. We'll find out, but again, not looking good. VIX, let's switch to line charts. Get rid of some of these moving averages. I like to look at the pure chart here. It's elevated. 27.65, not crazy, but it's elevated. So let's keep that in mind. Elevated VIX, not the best. Equity only put call ratio. So we did get a spike into this range, which was a nice start. And then, one good day and boom, everyone's back in more in a neutral range again. I don't think it was the washout we needed. I want to see a capitulation washout, something that gets at least close at 1.4. I mean, 1.4, 1.47 is not bad, right? But we could go, not everyone was on one side of the boat. So I think we still need to see a big capitulation type washout. Again, that would be definitely a place to maybe potentially start to make some buys and see what happens at that point. We haven't seen that yet, right? So sentiment, I don't think it was bearish enough to be honest with you. Value line geometric index, obviously a breadth indicator, starting, rolling over. That's kind of to be expected. And we're looking at MMFI, which is percent of stocks above the 50-day moving averages. We're only at 23% basically, or above the 50-day. But is that as extreme as it could go? No. So one more push down may be what we need to get into my green zone here, which I would consider a buy zone. I could actually put this all the way to 0, right? 10% or less. That's fine, right? Where's 0 in here? There's 0. Yeah. So point is that yes, things are sucky and not looking good and moving lower, but they could go lower still. I don't think we're at a bottom yet on breadth. It could potentially have one more leg down and get to 10% or less. I think that's the trick right there. 10% or less. Something like that. Right. And you see every time we've had in this 10% range, we've had a pretty good snapback. So that's what I'm looking for a good washout. Looking at bond spreads, we're starting to see a little bit of spikiness in the bond spreads. Maybe it breaks 1.52, maybe it doesn't. I don't know if it will or won't, but I do think that that it's definitely something to watch. This area right here, we'll see what happens with it. But it is starting to look a little spiky. Again, it's looked like this before though, right? Like in here, like that was concerning. And so, but it hasn't broken out yet. So we'll just keep watching them. Again, we're not seeing straight up. So even this looks different than this. So I guess that'll be a positive. 10-year yield, right? So a lot of stuff. Let's go to the weekly on this chart. A lot of stuff happening on this chart, right? So we have this trend line from the 1981 high in yields all the way down. So here that's what this white line is. And then we have this area, which has been, support and resistance in the past. And then we have this kind of flaggy looking situation here. So zooming in, and let's go ahead and expand this area. And my dog is barking again, of course. It's kind of chopping around. I think the move to 2 is going to happen. I think it's likely to happen at this point. And then that's where that last capitulation type spike may occur, right? And then we'll see what happens. I have no idea, but I think that the more likely scenario is the move to 2. And hopefully that will coincide with a capitulation and a complete washout and so on and so forth. Sentiment to get completely bearish. Percent of stocks above the 50-day moving average go down to less than 10%. All those things hopefully will fall in place with the 10-year moving up. And then again, then we'll see, right? That may be a buying opportunity. We'll find out. Let's look at gold. Gold actually suckered me in again. I have a small gold position right now, and because it was breaking out on the daily chart, and then it just reversed on me. So I do have my stop right down here. So it's actually fairly close to my stop. It may stop out next week. That's my only position I have on right now, about half position of gold. Man, I really thought this was it. But again, it still has to keep this low. If it loses low, I stop out. If it breaks it, or if it breaks this trend line, I may add more. We'll see. But as of right now, it's still building out this pattern. We've been watching this one for over a year. Back in, I think it was 2020, we started watching it when it started to break out here. And then it came back in and so on and so forth. So is this making the right side of whatever base is, gigantic base? Maybe. We'll see what happens with gold. But again, we're not seeing this flight to safety yet in there. But a breakout here would be really, really bullish gold. But also would be probably bearish equities, most likely. And let's look at Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin kind of led everything on the downside. So let's see what it's doing. I think when Bitcoin truly recovers, I think that's when equities will recover too. To me, again, this looks more bear flaggish than it does at bottom. I could definitely see this rolling over one more time and maybe actually hitting this 30,000 mark. It never really hit it. Went up to 33 or so, now up to 37.8. I would love to see this maybe one more capitulatory type move lower. And then we can maybe hold this 30,000, 28, 29,000 area. And then potentially move higher. Again, Bitcoin as a indicator. I think this is bear flaggish. I think it moves lower one more time. Again, this is my guess. I have no idea. It's open obviously 24/7, 365 days. So it'll be interesting to see what it does tonight, tomorrow, and it may be tell you next week what to expect in stocks, right? Again, it seems to be the riskiest of risk assets. And again, it kind of led the market lower. And again, here's your VWAP from the highs. And again, I think this is an important area. So we will see. All right, so let's wrap it all up. Looking at the Qs. Listen, again, this is not for me a healthy looking bottoming type action. I wouldn't be surprised if we do get one more flush from here to here, 15% more in the Qs. Is it possible? Absolutely. I mean, from top to bottom, we're at down 13 at the lows. We were down 15. I could definitely see another push lower to get all those other pieces in place. It doesn't have to go that way, but it's just the way that I'm seeing it. It's the way the puzzle could work out. So I would say stay cautious if you're cautious. I wouldn't jump on a couple-day rally. I think that that's a fool's errand. Now, if we start to get above, important key moving averages, I'm going to throw a whole bunch of them in there. Right. We started to move above these moving averages and they start to flatten out. Right. that may be a different story, but we don't see any evidence of that right now. Right now we just have to be in a counter trend bull rally, right? And the trend is lower, right? Trend is lower in every time frame. The trend is lower. You know, the 200-day is flat at best, right? On the Qs, on the SPX, it's flat. IWM, it's rolling over, right? So it's all guilty until proven innocent. Again, pretty sure that not pretty sure. I think that we have one more leg down. Again, IWO may bottom first because it's so close to its potential support area. Bitcoin may actually lead also. Again, the highest risk areas, I'm watching those for maybe some clues of bottoming and risk appetite. All right. Again, if you like these videos, please like and subscribe down below. I really appreciate it. I always give myself subscriber goals for each year. So again, thank you very much if you did do that. Get me into the YouTube algorithm a little bit better, so people can find me easier. Thank you. And hope you all have a safe trading week out there this week. Good luck and take care.